Underdog Daily with the Patch Bros, John and Nez. Nez takes us in the building. The dad, aka the dad champion from last night. Love to see it. Showing off that dad strength early in the baseball season here. Fun time for drafting today. The early contest absolutely cooked. So we've already got one baseball slate down to sweat right now. We got peak silly season NBA this evening. We got Luka returning to Dallas, which is just fun, narrative wise. And then we got the Masters. We got the Masters coming up. So I'm not gonna lie, Nez. I've become low-key addicted to PGA. I've just been clicking all the dudes this morning. I think I got 20 albatrosses done after running the show there yesterday with Amax. So pretty fun stuff.
It took you long enough, man. I mean, golf has been the scroll sport. I mean, rivals baseball as far as scrolling for a while. So this is really right up your alley. And I mean, on top of the fact that you scroll, I mean, you're a big time nihilist as well. And I mean, nothing matters less than just golf. I mean, it's a hilarious sport. It's a hilarious sport to draft. It's super fun because like you can just, like me when I play PGA, when I play Albatross and the dailies, I pretty much just draft the same guys that I draft every single slate, no matter what.
Okay.
Just a lot of Akshay, a lot of Thagala, just all my guys.
Okay, well, I like that Akshay is one of your guys because I've been clicking his name a lot, mainly because I like the profile picture with the glasses on. I think it's good steez. Oh man. I will share my albatross percentages when it's all said and done. When it's all said and done, I promise to share them with the community. I see everybody rolling in, GMs. We're gonna start with last night. Then we're gonna dip into 10 games of NBA here, or maybe even more than that.
That's 10.
10? Okay. Yeah, 10 games of NBA and then 4 games of MLB. First things first, though, Nez, how'd you end up on I can't even remember. Was it called the Daytime Diamond this morning, or was it just called the Walk-Off Wednesday?
It was just the Walk-Off Wednesday. Yeah, it was
Okay.
just treated like the main slate. And I tried to get a lot of nationals. As soon as I got the CJ Abrams leadoff notification, I just went crazy on that stack. Did some Giants stuff as well. So I went pretty heavy Nationals, Giants, and then Orioles too. Those are my 3 teams today. I'm pretty concentrated these days in baseball, man. I see spots, I like them, and I really try to just hammer the shit out of them. That's how I like to play right now. So
cool. Yeah, sounds pretty reasonable there. CJ Abrams was probably going to be lower owned than his projection because of the Q tag too. I had the same thoughts about Soderstrom, and I saw the play last night, and then saw the incident or whatever, and then saw that he stayed in and still took an at bat after, and then when the game was out of reach, got lifted. So I thought Soderstrom was going to be in there today. So that was my little piece of leverage. I liked that lefty power spot for him. So I played a decent amount. I only played 23 entries in the morning here, but I got a lot of Jordan, and then I got a lot of Shohei, and then I got a lot of athletics. So that was kind of my stance there. I think it might be finally a slate where the 101 ends up mattering, though Jackson Churio mattered last night, but wasn't the consensus 101. But I think it might be finally get an Ohtani spot here because I think that sets up really well against Jake Irving there, that lefty power.
Jeez, Jake Irving slander is crazy, man.
Professional ass right-handed pitcher Jake Irving. He's got a power problem versus lefties, that's for sure. So I saw that one, and then I saw Randy Vasquez has a little bit of a power problem against lefties too. So those were my 2 spots. So a little different than you. It'll be you or I on this one, and judging by your recent results, I think it might be more likely to be you this evening.
It was nice to get home last night. Peppered the leaderboard there, which is kind of what I'm trying to do, right? If I'm right, I want to have multiple winning lineups there, try to scoop a little bit. But main slates have not been my jam necessarily, but they're still fun. Doesn't make them any less fun.
No, of course not. Yeah, and LOL variance in baseball because it's baseball, right? We say that all the time. Anything can happen. Speaking of which, there's been no variance in this man's game, the Turn Tuesday champion, peppering the leaderboard, 3 of the top 4 spots there, but all in very different manners. That was Car Park last.
Crazy.
Yeah, but getting on the Frammer stuff, and then as we alluded to, a little bit of that Coors chalk, and then the contrarian stack for the Phillies because nobody was really going against Sale, and Sale was projecting really well for Cardi, and then Kyle Schwarber ends up. This 34 could have even been bigger because his last at bat, I believe, was a walk, and he yanked a 440-foot foul ball that was like 8 foul. So he almost homered again when he was going for the cycle. He needed a double for the cycle, and then he yanked a home run like just foul. But man, Car Park has been unbelievable to start this year. But I just wanted to bring it up, Nez, to just show like how different these lineups were. Basically, the only consistency between those two lineups was Schwarber and Willem Contreras, and then everything else was different there. So just a reminder in baseball that you don't have to be perfect. You don't have to be optimal. You just have to beat your opponents.
Yeah, I mean that's super impressive to have so much differentiation in the lineups and just be like 1, 2, and 4. But really, just par for the course for our guy Car Park these days, man. Just crushing right now.
Yeah, very, very impressive stuff to start this baseball season. And, it tails off of the hockey success and some basketball success even this season for him. So, man, we might have to start having the conversation. Who knows?
Etching out his face in the mountain.
At the base, I broke off a rock at the base of the mountain there, scraping it off. I'm pulling it close. He's doing it across multiple sports. Some of those other players who were at the base of the mountain, some of the volumes dipped off and stuff like that. So we might be seeing a flippening here.
Yeah, I think we are. I think we're seeing it in real time.
Yeah. Great stuff there. Nez, I did not get any hoops entries in yesterday. Do you have a winner in the hoops for me?
Yeah, but I don't know how to say the username.
Bring it up. Do you have a screen share? Let's see.
No, I'm on my phone right now. It's Starty Me One.
Starty Me One. What was the lineup?
Shay and Kat with Onyeka with that monster 60 ball. Mobley, Zach Edey.
Okay.
And Jalen Brunson.
I think Zach Edey wound up being the highest scoring piece of that Memphis game. Like Memphis put up like 140 points, or not 140, like 130 points, something like that, and they won by like 20. I think Edey was the highest scoring player from Memphis in that ball game. I mean, ever since Taylor Jenkins has been gone, his minutes have ticked up in a big way, and they've played some more traditional 5 type stuff.
Very interesting. Yeah, lots changed in the NBA. And Brunson, if I didn't mention that, Brunson snuck his way to 40 thanks to overtime.
There you go. Second game back for Brunson there. All right, Nez. This is gonna be hard to talk about. We got some injury reports. We don't have all of them. It's gonna be it's gonna be a tough slate here. This is peak silly season. This is peak have your Windhurst up. Anything can happen at any given moment style stuff here in the NBA. But I guess the most important stuff is the back end back-to-backs. There are 11 of them today. There is Boston and Orlando. Thankfully, Boston has already submitted, and we got what we kind of expected when everybody saw that Orlando was 6.5-point favorites there this morning, that Boston has basically ruled everybody out with the exception of a Q tag on Jaylen Brown there and Peyton Pritchard. So no Q tag on Pritchard, but just didn't rule him out. So that full like core 5 or whatever. Washington's got a back-to-back here. Charlotte's got a back-to-back. They've both filed. The Lakers are on a back-to-back. Luka got ejected last night, and there's no chance Luka's missing in Dallas this evening. Chicago and Miami play each other, which is a potential preview of what we could see in the play-in bracket there.
Ooh.
So I don't know if they're going to go all out this evening. They basically have the exact same record they do have the exact same record right now, and they are tied at the bottom of the Eastern Conference play-in tournament there. So I don't know what that means, Nez. I'll ask you the question, like, do you think they play each other tonight and then try and move up the standings? We'll look at the standings in a half second there. OKC on the back-to-back has yet to file, but in rooms, people are treating it as if Shea's not playing basketball tonight because he's fallen to 6. He is falling all over the place when I was drafting. I don't think he plays basketball this evening. That being said, he has a very real case at the MVP right now, and maybe he wants to continue, putting some games together here to solidify said case. But yeah, not sure what your thoughts are on that one. We'll talk through it in a second. Suns on a back-to-back. They were mathematically eliminated last night from the playoffs there, so expecting potentially no Booker and Beal there, and Booker's ADP is in the second round. Spurs and Warriors. Warriors have everything to play for, alongside the Clippers having everything to play for. That middling chunk of the Western Conference, I feel the safest about. So Warriors are on a back-to-back and Clippers are on a back-to-back, but I do feel quite safe about them. And then Spurs, I have no idea. It's second night back-to-back for them. So there were all the back-to-backs. Nez, that's kind of like the macro lay of the land of the 10 games. What are you thinking here just when you look at the slate?
I definitely did not have my third eye open to Shea sitting tonight. Okay. But I think that does make sense. I didn't have my third eye open to Booker sitting tonight, but that also makes sense. But like, something's got to give. I think given the fact that the spread is 10 points, I think if Booker and Shea sit, maybe that makes sense. But I think that they might even, I don't know. That's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, with the MVP case for Shea, I think he might just play. I think that means a lot. So I do think that Shea plays personally.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so I think the MVP narrative is there in a big way. The other one that I was looking at is they basically can't do anything in the standings. Like they're locked in with a bullet in first. They're 13 games ahead of the Rockets. The only thing that they could possibly clinch, but it looks like they're going to clinch it anyways, is home court throughout the entirety of the postseason against the Eastern Conference. So the only box left to check is to ensure they finish above the Cavs, so that if they do happen to make the finals against the Cavs, that then they can have home court. That's the only possible thing they could clinch, and they're already 2 games up on the Cavs for that. So, yeah, I don't know, man. For me, it's the SGA conversation of if we think he plays because of the MVP race, because Joker's playing nationally televised after firing both of their coach and their GM. The team's on a slide. The team is playing fiercely competitive games for the last 3 of the season to ensure that they don't fall into the play-in tournament, because that's a real possibility for the Nuggets as well. So it just comes down to, does SGA view Joker as that much of a threat to his MVP in those circumstances that he has to play these last couple as well?
Yeah, that's it. Those are all really good points. The more I think about this, man, like the more my that's not necessarily a strong belief I had on SGA. The more I think about this, the more it seems like he's not playing. Damn. Yeah, I was not woke to that. I don't do the amount of prep work before I draft like I used to these days, just because of the mental capacity and time that I have right now. Damn. Yeah. I think that's sharp. Yeah. I could see him sitting right now. Yeah.
Yeah. Here's a really good point from Ghost AF when we go back to talking about the Heat Bulls game.
Yeah.
Is 7-8 seat is important, because if you finish in that 9 or 10, you have to win 2. So you have to win the first game, then you have to beat the other team, right? Whereas if you finish 7, you
Fuck.
Yeah, that makes sense, right?
Yeah. And I mean, we'll get to this game. I think that this is going to be a full health game.
Okay. All right. Cool. This is true too. Shea never really sits.
Yeah, I think it can only like he did have the thumb injury that you third-eyed way back in the day. And then he did take a rest day, I think earlier, in the last few weeks, but
yeah.
that's what I'm
Yeah, Jared Roa said a heavy deposit type of day, eh? Like, yeah, it does feel like if you are the ball knowers, if this is the time to capitalize. True silly season is the time to capitalize because we already got the a little bit of the edge has been mitigated with the landmines that were the Celtics early in the day are now going to be taken out of the pool. The landmines that could or potential landmines that could be some Raptors pieces or some Hornets pieces or that sort of thing. The Hornets guys have now been removed from the pool, but there's definitely going to be some big time edge later in the day of guys you want to get to, that sort of thing. Nez, normally we do the Q tags. I think it's more beneficial to do the standings thing today. And this kind of will set the lay of the land for today, but then for the rest of the week. Tomorrow's kind of a light slate, but Friday and Sunday are monster end of the season ones. And I think it's just going to be really impactful to know what's kind of going on. So Eastern Conference, when I look at it, Cavs are locked in where they're in. Celtics are locked in where they are, kind of thing. Knicks and Pacers seemingly locked in, but neither are on the slate today, so we don't have to have a conversation about them, kind of thing. Bucks and Pistons, you could kind of do that. They're locked into being above the 6 threshold. That's all we got to kind of say there. They can't really flip anymore. It looked like a chance for the Pistons to flip the Bucks, a couple nights ago, but that's not going to be the case. So what we really care about in the Eastern Conference here is these bottom 4 and how they play to ensure that they stay out of the bottom side of this bracket, where you have to, as was alluded in the chat there from Ghost AF, you have to win twice to get in, kind of thing, because the winner of this 7-8 game becomes the 7, and then the loser of that plays the winner of the 9-10 game. So there's something to play for this evening between those two teams to then try and vault the Hawks so that they basically have 2 lives at getting into the postseason.
Yeah, that's something to play for sure. I think all these games, all these teams, considering how tight those playing games are, you would love to win one less game and be in, So yeah, I think we can kind of count on pretty good run for these teams right now.
Yeah. The Heat side there was a note in the Discord for Unabated there that Spoelstra expects Andrew Wiggins to be available this evening.
Okay.
So just what that means in terms of impact on Hero and Bam and Khalil Ware in recent memory there. So just factor that in the back of your mind. Whether he plays full or not, who knows? He's missed 4 or 5 games, but if he comes back and plays 28, he's immediately going to impact both rotationally and both for offensive usage. So just something to put in the back of your minds there. Nez, any thoughts on, Magic are obviously going to do their best to win this evening to solidify that 7 seed so that they cannot be caught. And then they have, 2 shots at making sure they're in the postseason there. So I'm expecting full from the Magic.
Yep.
Yeah, you feel similarly?
Yep. Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Any other notes, Eastern Conference stuff that you see that's, relative to the dance or relative to tonight's contest?
Just that Bulls Heat game seems like a pretty important game for those two. So, I'm liking that game today.
That is effectively a playoff game now that we think about it. You
know what
I mean?
Yeah.
Because, let's think about this. They play each other this evening, and then to close the season, what just happened? To close the season, a little bit of a duck walk here to close the season for the Bulls. Getting the Wiz and getting the 76ers, no back-to-backs included in that. So the Bulls are in a pretty nice spot if they take care of business tonight against Miami to take 3 games upcoming here.
Yeah, that's big time. That's big time.
Let's see
But
what
you never know, man. These the Wizards bench a little frisky. That's not a pushover.
That's true. That's true.
Gotta play.
Oh
Soft
man,
too.
looking equally as soft there for Miami, where they play each other tonight, and then they get the Pels and the Wiz, two tanking teams. So very interesting stuff. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, this is important. This is important. You know.
Yeah. Miami, after we dunked all over them for that big skid, kind of nice recently. 7-2 or 7-2 in their last 9, 7-3 in their last 10 after this monster skid here.
Man, it's crazy. Looking like the stock market.
Oh shit!
A lot
Funny,
of red,
but
a lot of
it's
green.
not
Can we
funny.
take a look at the Hawks real quick?
Yeah, that's where you read my mind.
Oh, cool.
Okay, Hawks should have 3 left as well. So at Brooklyn tomorrow, then Philadelphia, and then Orlando on Sunday. So if they're both locked on Sunday already, like they could not waive that game. But if it looks like that is the differentiating piece for the two of them on who could be 7, 8, or 9, one team could be going hard, one wouldn't, or both be going hard.
So there's a chance that this game means nothing for the Magic, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If the Magic win tonight, and they'll be very safe if they win tonight. They'll be extra safe if they win tonight and their next game.
Yeah, so that it's probably going to be a punt game for them, most likely there, which, you're looking at potentially 3 wins for the Hawks.
For the Hawks. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. Because they have Pacers, no pushover there. So they got Boston and Pacers. So they definitely have the toughest remaining schedule. But they're but they're gonna get punt Boston. And then who knows? They might get punt Indiana too.
Yeah.
Because if we go back to the standings there, Indiana might not be able to catch the Knicks, and they might not be able to be caught from behind either.
Mm-hmm.
This is peak silly season, man.
Oh, dude, this is how this is real. This is real fantasy, brother. When we could care less about the matchups and the players. What's up with the standings? Because
yeah,
that's what really matters. Yeah, I mean,
Pacers might be able to catch the Knicks there, but I don't know what the tiebreaker is between them.
It would be head to head.
I don't know. I actually don't. I don't even know what the tiebreaker is. I imagine it's head to head, but I don't know.
Interesting. Because you would love to be the 3 seed. I mean, right. you want home court there.
Yeah, I mean, in theory, you have home court for the first series as the Pacers, but if all the favorites win, no longer, right?
And of course, you would rather play Detroit than Milwaukee if Milwaukee's getting Dame back.
Yeah. What do you think? Do you think Dame's coming back? We kind of had that conversation yesterday.
It seems like it. I mean, everything is trending towards him coming back. Like everything that I'm seeing from the beats in Milwaukee, they seem really, really bullish on his return.
Wow, man. Bucks are so underpriced in the dance right now then if Dame comes back. Because if you're looking for a backstack like East team, they basically go undrafted unless you go squatters right on Giannis.
And did we ever figure out if Bobby Poe can play in the playoffs?
Yeah, I believe he can. It's not like MLB. Yeah. Because MLB, if you get a PED suspension, you're gone for the postseason.
Yep.
I'm like 97% sure that Bobby Portis is available for the postseason. Yeah, we drafted him yesterday, I think. I think we drafted him yesterday.
That's awesome.
Okay, Nez, this is where shit gets really crazy.
All right.
If that wasn't wacky enough for us to gal brain through, the Western Conference is where shit gets crazy because the Lakers are currently the 3 seed. But as you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4 teams from position 4 through 7 are all tied with 47 and 32. So the Clippers are going to be going full tonight after resting Kawhi last night. Kawhi's already been made available for tonight. Nuggets, we talked about firing of the coach, firing of the GM, that sort of thing. They're going to be full tonight because everyone's trying to stay out of this play-in tournament because the only team that is, guaranteed to be in the play-in will be the Kings and the Mavs as of right now.
So the Suns are technically still alive.
Everyone declared them eliminated last night. Yeah, like on Twitter and stuff like that. But according to ESPN, I don't know. Maybe if they win 3 and Mavs lose 3 and then there's a tiebreaker or something. Everyone declared them eliminated last night on the internet. So
I mean, that's probably correct.
Yeah.
I think we can just call them dead, even though maybe mathematically they're not. So our Mavs are in, but they're going full go against Luka because they want to play him in the play-in game for sure. They want to beat him twice, get his ass out of here. All right, cool. This is this is wild, man. This is absolutely wild. Can you put me in the winner circle for my Rockets victory lap? Is that allowed? 10K victory and calling the Rockets like just a bona fide good basketball team?
I would love to. I think we have to keep the integrity of the winner circle to be dog bowls and 10Ks.
Okay.
But I can mentally place you in there because of how bullish you were on the Rockets as a basketball team.
Thank you very much. That means a lot. How about those Rockets, man? What a season for them. They still have terrible finals odds, but what a season for them.
Yeah, bad finals odds, and but they're free in the dance right now. Yeah. I mean, and you don't even have to do it with Sengun because they have decent wing depth that you can add to it, and then you can just take one of the guards. You don't have to take both of them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so you can do a little like 3-man Rockets stack or something. Justin's saying the Suns are dead. Yeah, Suns are dead. That was my understanding too. I was just surprised on ESPN that like there's not a big E beside their name. So yeah,
they're putting all their resources towards Stephen A. Beef, I think, so they can't update the Western Conference Finals.
It's actually insane what's required to become like actually famous as like a talking head in the sports. Like you and I mean, I'll butter our bread for a second here, Nez. I think we do a very good job every single day of both being clear, concise, intelligent, and insightful, but also like funny in breaking down these slates and having a lot of fun talking real life basketball. If we had a TV show on like ESPN, it would be like, I was right about the Rockets. I was right about the Rockets. And you'd be like jumping up and down. And like, that's what gets views. Like, we don't get the views that those guys are getting. Like, we have to be like screaming and like peak like aggressive to get like viral memes that people can cut together of us. Like, it's just like, oh my God.
The worldwide leader, man. They're unbelievable.
God. It's just, I can't remember the last time I watched anything that was like talk show or sports radio or anything like that on ESPN, on like a mainstream outlet. Like I would watch anything on, I would watch anything on the Underdog channels. I would watch anything on the Unabated. I'd watch anything on, Pete and Davis and those guys long before I even considered, putting on the mainstream shit. Like,
that's kind of the way things are trending too. Everybody's sort of going toward their niche stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, we'd have to have the IQ of this show to be on there. That's funny, man. Oh man. Yeah. I did see a clip of this where it's like they're talking about Ovechkin's record and LeBron somehow gets brought into the conversation. It's just like
Jesus Christ.
Like, God, it's crazy. Anyways, side tangent for a half second now that it was just that it came top of mind. Okay, Nez, in terms of this slate, obviously Grizz and T-Wolves aren't on it. So we're really focused on Nuggets, Warriors, Clippers, Lakers, Kings, Mavs. So yeah, let's just talk through. Obviously, the Kings and the Mavs cannot advance to the 8 seed, so they're almost undoubtedly going to be playing one another to then get the opportunity to play into the 7 or 8 seed. That would be my read on the situation there. Do you feel differently?
No, I agree with you.
Okay, cool. I'm expecting Golden State to try their hardest, Clippers to try their hardest, and Nuggets to try their hardest, despite Jamal having a doubtful tag this evening.
Yeah. I mean, Jamal, they're just trying to make sure he's right for the playoffs. He's got long history of soft tissue injuries, so.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Does that make you like extra bullish on wanting to get ahead on, Lakers ADPs? Clippers ADPs are really palatable right now. Would you be pushing them over certain guys because you think they're going to play, more this evening? Or is this going to be all contextually specific with like game total and whatever, where it's like, Clippers are 7.5-point favorites at home against the Rockets, who, kind of have something to play for, but not really because they're locked into that too.
Yeah, I'm not giving them any sort of like special treatment, Okay.
Yeah. All right, cool. Yeah, I think that's good macro on the West there. In terms of the dance, do you have any leans on some of these backstack teams or guys you'd be interested in general?
I mean, I still think the Timberwolves are really undervalued and just one of the easiest West teams to stack up right now. Man, the time to get the Warriors is not today. That was 3 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago. I just think they're straight up like not a good team to draft right now because of how their prices have changed. I mean, I've got teams from when the dance opened of like my last 3 picks are like Steph, Jimmy, and Draymond. I mean, I think that matters a ton.
Yeah, I do agree with you.
That much difference I think is important.
Yeah, we went through a couple of them on the show yesterday when you weren't here, of like some of the ones where I was like, yeah, man, because I was the bull about, push Luka and Braun up and take them in the second and third, or take them at the 1-2 turn before that's no longer available, kind of thing. And I went back and I looked at some of those Luka and Braun and whatever. There are a lot of dead teams in there though. Like, like I would have like 2 Suns pieces at the end, or I would have like Mavs with Kyrie or stuff like that. So, I mean, your sample is going to be way better than my whatever 20 drafts. You've done 100 of them. So I'm sure you have, some quote unquote super teams in there. So I do think it's a good macro point that people, be buying the flippening, basically, where like the Grizzlies are now priced at where, the Warriors used to be priced.
Yeah.
So flip that or something like that in your builds.
Yep. Yeah. It's crazy how much those 2 teams specifically have just traded ADP value.
Yeah. And no matter what the Rockets do, nobody will draft them.
No
matter how.
Probably fair, but I mean, Amen Thompson might be putting clamps in the playoffs, man.
Dude, he put clamps down last week on SGA.
Can you believe that on the MVP?
Yeah, he put clamps down. Held him to 21, I think it was, something like that. It was like one of his a few games under 25 this year. Yeah.
Did we try? Was Amen the guy we were trying to make a nickname for his defensive prowess, or was that somebody else?
We were doing it with Tamani Kamara for a while there.
Kamara. That's right. Yeah, Amen's being called the Amenitentiary.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
I like it.
Pretty good.
Yeah, not bad. I mean, it's no to Marcatraz. Fuck, I screw it up every time. Oh man. Held Curry to 3 points. That was the one. Yeah, the shout out to Winky again for winning on Sunday the redacted championship there. Held Curry to 3 points. That was crazy.
What a psycho.
Yeah. Big shout outs to Brandon coming in here and Brett coming in here. We got another Brett. We got a Brett boy and we got a Brett rolling through, both with one
Brett?
T. Yeah, maybe just Brett. Oh,
what's your handle, bro?
Yeah, what's your handle?
Guantanamo Bay.
What? It's like Guantanamo, but like
Guantanamo.
Guantanamo. That's hard
I think
to
that's
say.
A really good nickname. It's just like it doesn't translate well, but I know what you're going for, and I think that's a really good. I think it's a really good job.
Yeah. All right, Nez, let's move in some of the game by game stuff here. Jump over to the beautiful Unabated platform here. We're going to have news rolling in all day. I'm going to get the most recent injury report that just came out at the 2:30 mark there. Who has yet to submit? I will just run that back down for people. Lakers did file. That's good to know. So Jackson Hayes with the probable tag, Bronny James with a Q tag, Maxi Kleber's still out there. So they filed. Looks like everyone has filed except for the 4 late games now. So still no Thunder, no Suns, no Spurs, no Warriors yet. And no Clippers. So 5 teams yet to file. Rockets did file. Sengun Jabari Smith with Q tags, Fred Van Fleet with the doubtful tag. So yeah, that's the macro there. So still 5 teams to file. So be cautious when you're out there doing your OKC teams, doing your Suns teams, anything like that in your drafts there that things could flip pretty quickly for those ones. Nez, let's start. We got Celtics. We got Magic. Magic have moved from 6-point favorites to 7.5 here on, that maybe in North Dakota, maybe not. But this total also moved down to a 205.5 there. Celtics have ruled out Holiday, Horford, Zinger, Tatum, Derek White. They've left a Q tag on JB, who has been dealing with that right knee for the same Q tag that he's played through multiple times now. So I don't necessarily have a read on whether that means he's going to be like the one dude who plays tonight, or if they're just, leaving the Q tag on there to, I have no idea. I don't know how to read that one there. And then on the Magic side, same guys we've been dealing with, the G Leaguers and Mo Wagner and Jalen Suggs there. This team could be so much better if those guys were healthy, which is unfortunate. Yeah.
Hate that. Yeah, let me take a look here. I had Paulo. I have a pretty aggressive rank on Paulo right now. Well, I guess I had him 5 earlier. I had Sabonis pushed down.
Okay.
Now I have Paulo 4 with the third eye opening of SGA.
Okay.
He's just playing really good basketball right now. And we kind of highlighted this game being semi-important for them, to get ahead and lock their position in the play-in. So I really like Paulo here, especially without, against the Celtics bench here.
Yeah, fully agree with you there. I imagine Peyton Pritchard on the other side is going to be a big riser as the day goes on there. Will there be anybody else that you're interested in this game outside of Paulo and Franz on the one side and Pritchard on the other side later? Will you take some Q tag? JB is, any Luke Cornett in the last round in your life? I know it's not a great matchup or good total, but yeah.
Definitely got to keep my eye open for 6th round JB. I mean, I hammered him against the Wizards and thought that I just ran pure as hell with the way that those injury reports broke out, and then he played 21 minutes. So that sucked.
I think he's still soft capped at that 28. You and I talked about it behind closed doors there on Sunday, that like even when he has been playing, he's been capped.
Yeah, I think they're just trying to get him back up to speed, which is maybe what they'll do here. Probably won't play full, but he'll at least play just to continue to get himself ready for the playoffs. I mean, I've got a pretty aggressive rank on Peyton Pritchard tonight, though. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, the last 2 drafts I did before we came on stream, I took him at 27. So that seems like a really good spot for him. Right now, he's definitely going to project better than that and push above that, even though the matchup's not the best in the world. Let me bring up. I got my hashtag sheet here. Nez, Pritchard, Hauser, Cornett are my like 3 locked in guys. JB, obviously, if he's in there. Those are my kind of like locked in starters. I can't imagine we'd want to play Cornett or Tillman or anything like that on a slate of this size because there's just going to be other options late.
Yep. Yeah. This slate it makes it kind of easy. You can just you just don't really have to worry about it. You shouldn't worry about it, in my opinion.
Okay. Yeah, sounds good to me. That's more of the redacted side of things.
Yeah.
I'm being informed not North Dakota, a Canadian book just for me, courtesy of the good people at Unabated. There, taking care of your boy. It's sports interaction, no free ads, but they have the worst fucking commercials in the history of planet Earth. Their whole marketing campaign, Nez, is a dude walking around on the street in Canada asking, in the States asking people about hockey. And then their whole sell job is these people don't know anything about hockey. Why would you bet with them when you can bet Canadian? That's like their whole shtick.
Which is really funny because if you're like not an idiot, you're like, well, that's why I want to bet with the Americans because they don't know how to set their lines.
Exactly.
You guys are too fucking sharp. Like, why would I bet with you?
It makes no sense. It's like the worst marketing campaign I've ever seen, and it's like it's not even funny. It's not even a good shtick. Oh
no.
it's
way too on the nose. It sounds horribly executed. It really sounds like something like an American marketing company came up with.
Came up for them.
Yeah. Like that's bad. Yuck.
Yeah, it is.
That
it
pissed
is
me
bad.
off. I'd
It's
mute my
bad.
TV if that came on.
And the funny thing is, if you're a Canadian book, why would you want to corner like the smallest available market? Like just because hockey's like most popular, it's definitely not the most like bet on. So it's like, why would you want to monopolize like the smallest piece of the pie?
Yeah, nobody's. They need a reorg bad.
Oh man. Shit. Yeah, there you go. Chris doubling down. I was right about that. That's so good. Guys, let's have some notes in the chat there. Do us a favor, hit the like, subscribe, notification bell. Consider signing up at the good platform of Unabated here. They're gonna have projections running all the way through the postseason there. Use promo code BADGE at sign up. We got almost 200 of us watching right now. If you happen to be on the X side, jump on over to the YouTube side for us. We're doing this, man. We're doing this every sport. We covered PGA yesterday. We covered the dance yesterday. We're covering baseball and basketball today. We're going to be here tomorrow too. Most likely a paywall show there because they are some shorter slates. And then we'll be back on Friday to cover that monster NBA one. So yeah, lots of good stuff on the platform of the people, lots of good stuff at Unabated, and lots of good stuff with the Badge Bros going forward here. All right, Nez, the super duper tank off bowl between the Wizards and the 76ers. 76ers are 2-point favorites on the road here against the Wizards. This is a 225.5. The Wizards have already ruled out a lot of bodies here. They have ruled out Sadiq Bey, who was still working his way back, allegedly there. Bilal Coulibaly, who's done for the year. Malcolm Brogdon, Anthony Gill. There's a doubtful tag on Holmes. Then there's a out tag on Kispert, Middleton, and Poole. For whatever reason, Marcus Smart has been listed available for this one. He's rarely playing north of 20, so doesn't really factor in. But, Sarr playing big minutes, especially with the other two bigs out here, and Bob Carrington, who's had a couple ceiling games in recent memory here and is probably the safest 4 minutes this evening on the Wizards side there. And then on the 76ers side, Quentin Grimes with the lowest ADP we've had, highest ADP we've seen from him in a long time because he has a Q tag beside his name. He's routinely available in the 4th and 5th round there. Justin Edwards, who had the rib contusion but did not play through it last time out. He's listed again with that same Q tag with the rib contusion, and then out tags on all the usual suspects, the Embiids, the George, the yada yada there. But the ones that kind of matter in terms of rotation for this evening is Yabu's out again. Kyle Lowry is out despite coming back last game, and yeah, that's about it. Thoughts on this one outside of basically Quentin Grimes getting drafted with the Q tag? I've seen Sarr go once or twice. I haven't seen Bub go. No one's really getting to this game. Are there pieces you want, Nez?
I mean, Grimes is definitely, drafted every time, obviously. I don't really know what to expect from our guy Grimes. His ADP right now is 26. If he's in, I mean, and you like the pick'ems on him, he's a smash. He's a smash. But I don't trust him. I don't trust the way they've been using him lately. Every time I try to get on Quentin Grimes, he fucks me, and anytime I try to fade him, guess what, John? He fucks me. I don't really want any part of it, truly. Who in the chat tried to get us on Lonnie White? I think that's a hilariously sharp take. To like Lonnie.
Lonnie Walker tonight?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
He's a professional basketball player. So there's that. Yeah, I mean, he's had a couple of okay box scores in recent memory here. I think this is the biggest takeaway here. Ricky Lee with some really good context in the chat there. So they've been managing the contracts here, like Jeff Doughton in particular. They've been managing the contract of, and then Hood Schifino. There's been some push-pull with him, with Lowry in versus Lowry out. If we end up with no Quentin Grimes tonight and no Justin Edwards, Bona probably going to play 30 minutes or north of 30 minutes. Against Sarr there, we can definitely draft both of those pieces in the last round. Jared Butler will probably start at the 1. Marcus Bagley has been playing a lot there. Lonnie Walker's been playing a lot. So some of these guys are going to come into our life. I think it would be Ricky Council who jumps into the starting lineup, but it was Bagley who jumped into the starting lineup on, I guess, Monday's slate there. So yeah, there's a lot to like if there's only 8 of them and they're going in up tempo against the Wiz, dumpster fire fest here. So there would definitely be reason. I think if I had to rank the game, Nez, for me personally, I think I would rank it Sarr. This is imagining Grimes is out.
Okay.
I think I'd rank it Sarr, Bona, Bub, Champagne, and then insert Lonnie Walker or Bagley or Butler for that last spot. And I think they're all 6-round viable.
Yeah, I don't have any issues there. I would maybe actually put Boner over Sarr, but otherwise, I think you're spot on.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm glad we kind of broke that one down because there's definitely some 6-round viable pieces in there. Or if you want to do like a mini correlation of like 1 and 2 of them, because like we've talked about guys who have good rates on these teams. It's just if they fall into minutes, like Champagne when he gets his shot up, decent rates guy. Vucevic when he gets his shots up and gets the minutes, rather not necessarily shots up, but gets the minutes to matter. He ends up mattering. So it's just there's definitely some playable bodies.
100%.
All right, let's move on here. Raptors and Hornets here, 218. Raptors are 10-point favorites at home, which is maybe not surprising given the fact that the Hornets have already ruled out Bridges and Josh Green and Josh Okogie and Mark Williams there. And then they have a probable tag on Damian Bowe, who might end up starting at the 1 this evening if he's available. But I imagine they go back to the KJ Simpson route. And then on the other side, we got out tags on Grady Dick and Oshiak Baji, Sheed and Walter. And then we got Q tags on Scotty Bolway and Jakob Pertl. So no designation for RJ and IQ, which is just interesting there. And none of them get drafted. 2 Hornets pieces were getting drafted earlier today, but now obviously no longer because both have been ruled out. I mean, I feel bad for fucking KJ Simpson after last night's incident there. Man, my heart goes out to that guy. Like, I don't think he was trying to do anything malicious that resulted in that scary incident for Jalen Wells there. But I imagine he starts at the 1 today. Yeah, can we draft anyone here? Nez, what do you think?
Yeah, this is wild. This is a wild one. I mean, there's no reason the Raptors should be 10-point favorites on anybody at this point in the season. So that's just like, that's ridiculous. It's very funny. Hard to like, trust the Raptors right now. I don't think the ceilings warrant them getting drafted, but IQ's been very, very efficient. when he does play. Even RJ has been pretty efficient as well. It's just I think I'd rather just like not worry about it. and as far as drafting these guys, man, I feel like KJ Simpson and Nurkic could like I want to draft him because I think it would be fun, but probably just not waiving this entire game.
Okay. Yeah, Nurk in particular for me, Nurk or Diabate is preferably Nurk, and I expect Nurk to start. I could definitely get to Nurk in this one, especially if you get Jakob Poeltl ruled out. So the way in which I think this becomes more playable is you get Poeltl and you get Poeltl and Scotty ruled out, and then you can get to an IQ, an RJ, or a Nurk. That would be kind of my takeaway.
Yeah. I think that'd be the correct way to play it.
Okay, cool. Did I butcher Champagne's name again? Probably.
I thought it sounded fine.
Okay, here is one that we talked about yesterday. This is great context for Justin here. This is one that we talked about yesterday that is going to be a real thing for the dance stuff and pushing forward on the slates. I was talking out loud about how certain guys are going to be pushing for eligibility stuff. So with the Spurs, for instance, this evening, like Chris Paul hasn't missed a basketball game this year. I think that matters to Chris Paul. Whether he plays full this evening, that's a completely separate conversation, but I anticipate him playing basketball. The same could be said for Jared Allen. Jared Allen has the ability to play every single basketball this game this year. So if they do wind up ruling guys out over the weekend, Jared Allen could be in there, but you're not necessarily anticipating full. So here's some great ball knower context from Justin here on the Jaylen Brown situation. He needs to play 15 minutes in another 2 games to remain eligible for all NBA. So he needed to play at least 20 in the previous 2, and that part's done. He played 22 and 22. Now, out of these remaining 3 games, he has to play 15 minutes in at least 2 of them. That is some brilliant, unabated ball-knowing knowledge that is, amazing to the context there. So even if JB is in this evening, I wouldn't be jamming him in the 6th round at lock because it sounds like he's going to play 20 and stop or 15 and stop kind of thing.
Yep. 100%, man. Yeah, it feels terrible, to be quite frank.
Yeah. Beautiful context there. Thank you so much for that, Justin. All right, let's move on here. Nez, this is kind of like the marquee highlight of the night here. This is ESPN nationally televised, Mavericks and Lakers. This game matters for both parties, more so for the Lakers in terms of movement. Mavericks just need one more win to, they could flip with the Kings and it doesn't really matter. They're basically locked into 9 or 10 right now. But here's a chance for the Mavericks to get some redemption on the Luka stuff. This is going to be all eyes on AD versus Luka game here. This is a 229, 4.5 by way of the Lakers on the road here. As we said, the Lakers just filed. It was Jackson Hayes was the only thing that was really added to that was meaningful, and it was just a probable tag. So expecting him to go this evening. And then on the Mavericks side here, we got a probable tag on AD, but he ain't fucking missing this one. And then Exum has the Q tag there. And then we got out tags on the G Leaguers and some of the two-way stuff. And yeah, this is about as full can get on the slate in terms of both of these 2 teams here.
Gonna be awesome, man. Really excited for this one. It's like appointment viewing, right? You got this is gonna be one of the most watched regular season games maybe ever. I mean, this is gonna be so fun. John, I have to ask. We have to have the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Do you just put your hand on your pants, see what you got,
and pull Luka over Jokic?
Fucking yeah. Do you do it?
I don't know, man. I think if the context of the scenario I think the context of the whole situation matters. Okay, fuck, I'm butchering this statement. Okay, let me say it like this.
Okay.
If Joker wasn't playing in a meaningful basketball game after his whole staff and whatever's been fired without Jamal against Sabonis and trying to fight for the third place in the Western Conference and stay out of the play-in tournament. If that didn't exist on this slate and it was just a normal Joker game, playing against, the Suns or something like that, where they could maybe not even run him full, then yes, I would do the Luka thing. I think the Luka narrative is very, very strong. I think the Joker narrative is almost as strong this evening. So I'm just going to keep Joker ahead there. You can also make the case that the way Joker's been playing, that if he does this for the last 3 games and they somehow finish like third in the West, that he has a very viable MVP case too.
Yeah. I know. Like, why couldn't he be playing like the Magic or something, Oh,
like if they were playing the Clippers, for instance, and we had a lower total and he was banging bodies with Zubac and it was going to be like a closer game on paper, even though it's meaningful, it just wouldn't have the same total or implied total as the Kings game. Then maybe you could spin zone it for me. But I don't think I can do it tonight, Nez, as much as I love to ape into the Luka narrative.
Well, there's never been a stronger 102 than Luka tonight coming home. I mean, God, this is going to be so awesome. I like LeBron a lot tonight, too. I initially had LeBron over Sabonis. I'm changing that.
Okay.
But, man, I do. Yeah. I do really like LeBron here tonight. I think this game's just going to be sick. That said, just to get past like the stars here, I think Reeves, definitely draftable. And for the Mavericks, other than AD, I haven't gotten to PJ. I haven't gotten to Dinwiddie. Haven't gotten to Gafford. So I think I'm just leaving it at Davis. For the Mavericks. Davis. Who the fuck calls Anthony Davis? AD.
Davis. Nice. Yeah. No, I agree with you there, Nez. I find it very hard to, Gafford's not like full yet. Like he kind of cannibalizes like the rebounding rate of PJ Washington too if they start alongside each other. Lively's back. It doesn't feel great to get to the auxiliary pieces, especially when we know the Lakers have good wing defenders when they choose to use them, So, I want to have a bro science ESPN level conversation right now about Reeves. Is there a better third option in the NBA than Austin Reeves?
I'm not going to think too hard about that. I just think the answer is no. Yeah, I mean, Reeves, he's not a traditional third option because he's like a point guard relegated to third option. Mm-hmm. But I mean, he can create his own shot, and he has a great pick and roll game. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I'm sure if we thought about it, we could probably find some options that rival him. There's very few. He's top 3 at worst.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like I think some of the other names that come to mind instantly would be like Derek White. Yeah, like Derek White comes to mind, or
Porzingis. I mean, Derek White's a 4th option.
That's true. Yeah, if you play that game, or Cavs too. If you do like Garland, like is Garland? Would you rather have Reeves or Garland kind of conversation?
Garland. Yeah, Garland might take that one.
Yeah,
but I wouldn't fight too hard on either side of that. That's a good shout. I mean, that's important. For the playoffs, like our guy Rinpak, was kind of talking about like having like shot creators. I think it's a big deal. Lakers are set up pretty nicely for the playoffs. They really just said fuck the 5, we'll get there anyways, and they look nice.
Yeah. Here's a good one too. Like if J-Dub or Chet, whichever you consider the third option for OKC.
Yeah, like I mean, those are great players, but as far as like scoring options, which I think you were saying, like.
Yeah.
Chet isn't like an awesome scorer, though.
Right.
So.
Yeah. He can definitely shoot the 3 and be a stretch 5, but yeah.
Yeah.
Desmond Bane. There you go.
Yeah, that's good.
That's a good one. That's a really good one. Yeah. This is funny. Sexton keynote.
That's what I'm talking about.
There we go.
That's
Now you're
awesome.
speaking. That's my music. Bub Carrington, Alex Starr, and Justin Champagne. Let's go, baby.
That's
That's my
hilarious.
music. That's good. Oh, Ned, should we go to the game tonight? Save your money for Avs Stars. Agreed.
Come kidnap me, Eggers, and then I can come.
Oh man. Oh, Stephon Castle. That could be a fun one for next year. Like if you do the Fox plus Wemby and then
Yeah,
Stephon Castle as an emerging,
that's good.
star as a third there. That's a good one. All right, Nez. Let's move on here. Heat and Bulls obviously pace up game for the Heat. It's a 228 total, which is low by Bulls standards, but high by Heat standards. Heat as 1 point favorites on the road here. We talked about the implications of this for the play-in bracket. Whoever kind of wins this ball game and is able to vault one position up over Atlanta there when we walked through the schedules. Whoever wins this game would have a decent opportunity to vault over Atlanta, would probably be a better way of putting that, because everyone kind of has soft-ish schedules remaining there in the Eastern Conference. And if you were able to do so, then you just have to win one game to get into the playoffs, opposed to having to win two in a row. So this is a pseudo playoff game here for both sides. And we're kind of treating it as such, because the Heat have kind of already listed the vast majority of their team available. That being said, they still have they have Burks, Bam, Hero, and Highsmith with available tags, and one probable tag there in the Highsmith one. And then Duncan Robinson's been listed available. And then in terms of Q tags, we're dealing with Andrew Wiggins most notably, but there was a good note in the Discord there that Spoelstra came out and said that he expects Andrew Wiggins to play this evening. And then on the Bulls side, still no Io, still no Lonzo. And then they got Q tags on Kevin Huerter, Josh Giddey, and Jalen Smith, and a probable tag on Vucevic. There you go. So there you go. Yeah, thoughts on this one, dude? As we said that, it moved to 2 on a different redacted. So yeah, that's probably just finding the quote unquote best price, not actual line movement.
Yeah, so this one, Giddey, I think, is going to play for all the reasons we talked about. Seems like the best pick on the board right now, all things considered. ADP 17, is that what that is? Or 12?
12.7.
Yeah. Still massive value. I think he should be going like early second round. So that looks like a really good pick. Vooch, man, I just like am pretty comfortable not getting to a lot of Vooch, but so he's 29 ADP. That does seem too cheap though. now that I see that, I'm used to him being more expensive. So yeah, I think all three of these guys are pretty draftable, and I would leave it at that. I'm not going to get the Matas on the 10-game slate.
Okay, that seems fair to me. On the Heat side, there, Nez, Bam's pretty priced up. I think it's an interesting conversation because both teams have something to play for this evening. Obviously, Bam probably in a better spot than Harden is this evening, but I think it's a good 1v1 there because their ADPs are side by side, and Harden is actually below Bam right now. But then the rest of it here, we got a probable tag on the site now for Andrew Wiggins. He's officially a Q tag on the injury report, but just noteworthy that they've gone ahead and added a P there. Yeah, but in terms of Bam, Hero, and then the auxiliary pieces in Ware and Wiggins, I don't think we can go any deeper than that this evening. And I think even Wiggins, for my money, is a little bit too deep because I don't expect full tonight coming back. But 28 of Wiggins is going to be viable somewhere else, but not on our site, kind of deal. Yeah. What do you think about the price tags on these guys?
Bam looks good for the price, in my opinion. And will I be getting to let me see here to Hero? I think Hero's a little overpriced, but it's a really good spot, man. So I'm gonna get there, but I have Denny and Giddey over Hero. Okay. And man, I think I'm gonna have Curry over Hero as well. So it's gonna be hard for me to get to Hero tonight, just given those ranks.
Okay, cool. Yeah, no, that checks out to me. It is undeniable that it is a good spot But obviously, Wiggins coming back cannibalizes a little bit of that scoring with the first unit role there. We had a little bit of a hoops moment, not a real hoops moment, but Diabates has been added to the injury report with Q tag there, which makes the Nurk stuff in the last round look even better. I guess one that we kind of skipped over there when we were talking about Vooch and we were talking about all that kind of stuff is Kobe White there. Kobe White's got a 23 ADP. I think some of that is baked in he's been playing really good ball recently and putting up big time fantasy scores, and the scoring output has been really nice. I think a little bit baked into this ADP is the hedging of if Giddey plays or not. We're both in the camp of Giddey playing basketball this evening. So I do think the Kobe White price is fair. It might just be like a little high for my liking right now. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, no, I fully agree with you. Just a little too pricey for me.
Okay. Yeah, Ben's got 60% through 95 drafts, which I don't think is crazy. But it is pace down spot. It is basketball. Like, this is a playoff type environment this evening, but it's undeniable how well Kobe White's been playing in recent memory there.
Wow.
All right, Nez, let's move back on over here. We got Portland and we got the Jazz here. This is a 230.5, 6.5 by way of Portland. You mentioned Denny Avdia already there. He's listed with the Q tag, which is a right thumb sprain, something that he's been listed twice with now. Duop Reith also has the Q tag. Anthony Simons has that same right forearm contusion Q tag that he has had for, I think, 4 games now, which the original note, it's 4 games now. And the original note on it was like he might miss 1. And now he's missed 4. So, yeah, I don't know. I was reading a little something this morning that inferred that he might be back this evening. That being said, Portland doesn't have anything to play for, nor do the Jazz here. Jazz side of the ball, kind of what we've been dealing with for a long time here. No Collins, no Kessler, no Markkanen, and then no KJ Johnson, no Kobe Williams, no Jordan Clarkson, and then a Q tag on Isaiah Collier. So, yeah, a lot of moving pieces in this one for a decent total. I'm counting Jazz if Collier misses with only 9 bodies this evening, which could be interesting to get to like Filipowski or Keynote in the last round. Don't love attacking Portland, but yeah, that's just macro thoughts on that one. And then Portland, obviously Avdia goes, Sharp's going, and then Klingon goes occasionally. Simons can be swap viable in the last round for like a Banton or something if you want it. Just macro thoughts, dude.
This game is really, really fun, in my opinion. Like you said, like the Blazers are not this awesome spot to attack, but we have some major concentrated usage in Utah right now. So I mean, like I think Sexton's just gonna have the green light. Filipowski should see a ton of minutes, or well, maybe not. He's at 24 the last like 2 games, which is interesting. But I do like Colin Sexton and Keynote here, cooking back and forth. Portland is who I really like here, obviously, against the Jazz. That's who we like. Banton is very close to on the never list. But watch tonight be the night. Watch tonight be Banton night against Utah. I'd be so tilted. I love Denny. ADP 15 Denny against Utah is just I'm going to have so much of that. I'll take Shaden too, with or without Denny in. I think Shaden is a good pick, and I love low owned Klingon tonight. I think that's that's the play. I think that is the play. Him and Bona are like my 6-round picks right now.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I respect that a lot, dude. Klingon right now with a flat 35 ADP. I guess we can have the conversation. We're probably not going to know this prior to lock because this is a 9:00 Eastern start, and it's kind of like one of the games on the slate that's on an island by itself. If we ended up with no Simons, or if you wanted to play it as no Simons, no Avdia, where would you take Shaden Sharp this evening?
I mean, I don't want to be hyperbolic, but like 15.
Yeah, I think you could almost just flip his and Denny's ADPs.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me look. Yeah, that seems pretty fair to me. I'm good with it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go to the game flow for 1 second. Back to last game. Obviously, no Simons in this one. They played 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 in this one. 34 for Sharp. This was without Denny Avdia and Simons. So just kind of like a look at what we've seen or what we could potentially see. Banton played 31. Sharp played 34. Thibault got up to 21, who missed a lot of time this year. So good to see him, working his way back, starting and playing 21. Tumani did the 34 thing. And then Klingon, as you alluded to, 26 minutes, playing the 5 there in a decent matchup versus Filipowski. Yeah.
Yeah, this is one where I think you just load up on Denny, and if he sits, like the Banton swaps are going to look fantastic. I think the opportunity cost is extremely worth it.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, let's see here. This is Ricky's going Galbrain in the chat here. They win this, they tie with the Heat / or have better record. Why does that matter? Just for pick's sake? Like Portland's already been eliminated from the postseason. They're not affected by the Heat and they're in different conferences. Is this for pick's sake?
That's a layer too deep for me.
Yeah, if that's for like draft pick compensation ideas, that's one wrinkle too far for your boy. I'm not concerned about Portland minutes tonight. Yeah, just shitty pick odds. Yeah. Yeah, I think when you're this close and you can't tank to the bottom, like the difference between like tanking for like 2 extra spots of picks between like 8 and 6, it's like I don't think it matters as much.
No, definitely not.
Like, would they prefer to lose their last 3 games? Absolutely, but they're not going to be in the Cooper Flag sweepstakes, so whatever. I mean, never say never with the lottery, but yeah. All right, let's move on here. Nez, the second of the nationally televised game here. Nuggets and Kings. This is the highest total on the slate, which isn't all that high comparative to some of the stuff we've seen in recent memory, but it is high. It's a 234.5. Nuggets are 4-point road favorites despite firing the coach and their GM and not having Jamal Murray this evening, though not a guarantee. It is a doubtful tag, but I read that as him not playing basketball this evening. He is the only player listed on their injury report, which is good to see there. And then on the Kings side, man, they're going to be without Malik Monk, who came back, actually he's been back for like 3 or 4 games now, but wasn't starting. Then they had a weird situation with Keegan Murray and Keon Ellis on the back-to-back with Q tags and that sort of thing. And then they ended up playing, and then Monk got hurt. So, yeah, he's going to be out here tonight. They're going to need him for that play-in series if they're going to stand any chance at all, though he hasn't been starting recently. Keegan Murray has the Q tag. Jake LaRavia and Malik Monk have been ruled out here. Sabonis goes high. Joker goes high. And then the auxiliary pieces like Levine and DeRozan kind of go in the 3rd, 4th range there. And then you can kind of have any other nugget you want in the last round. Sometimes Christian Brown goes. Haven't seen a lot of Michael Porter go just yet. So thoughts on this one? Let's have the Nuggets conversation first. Outside of Joker, what are you into?
I mean, I don't think anybody, dude. The only one that I would really want to maybe get to is Christian Brown. I just think Christian Brown is just good at basketball. And I knew he was undervalued these last couple slates, like especially against the Pacers. Mm-hmm. I was like, Pick'ems don't really like Christian Brown tonight. Against Indiana, no Jamal Murray. I think he might be a good pick. And then I'd swap to some that didn't help me at all. I forget who it was.
Yeah.
Really, really, really pretty annoyed at myself for that one. But yeah, I could see myself drafting Christian Brown in the 6th tonight. I'll throw him in the back of my ranks.
Yeah, minutes look really strong in recent memory there, 38, 38, and then 53 in that double overtime game that then they all kind of sat the second night of the back-to-back there. Yeah, I'm just really interested in what new coaching will do here. We've been dealing with Russ not playing big minutes, and now does Russ come from being an off the bench role to jumping back into the starting unit, something that we saw early in the season here. Yeah, I don't know, because they've been doing like the Jalen Pickett stuff right now. So it's been like Brown, Porter, Gordon, Joker, and then Jalen Pickett starting at the one kind of deal. Now with like a new coach at the helm here, do we see something different? Like, do we see Peyton Watson in the starting unit? Do we see Strother, who's probably not back to full, but good to see him playing basketball? So probably don't see him start. Like, I'm really intrigued by, does Christian Brown's minutes get impacted by new coaching staff doing something different? Playing Russ more because these games matter, kind of deal.
Yeah. Yeah, I would be surprised if we don't see like some form of rotational change. Right? I mean, like you just cleared house. Something's going to be different. I would bank on it.
Yeah. I mean, they've lost 7 of their last 10. And if you go back a little bit further than that, 9, 3-9 is what I'm seeing in their last 12. So, yeah. Yeah, man, something's got to change here. Something's got to change here. But yeah, big game for them in terms of playoff implications here. I'm leaving the light on tonight for Russ playing a little bit more. And, Russ, when he gets burned in the highest total game on the slate, feels kind of fun to me.
Feels very fun.
Yeah. Okay, let's talk about the Kings side there. Nez, as I alluded, there's 3 guys who get drafted every single time. There we saw Joval cook in the first half, their last game out in just 12 minutes, 27 fantasy points. That was kind of fun there. If Keegan plays, he's going to draw back into the starting lineup there. If Keegan does not play, I imagine Trey Lyles jumps into that starting lineup. It's kind of what happened previously. So yeah, there's some push pull there. I don't think either are draftable this evening. But yeah, thoughts on the 3 pieces that get drafted every single time, and can you get to like Keon Ellis in the last round?
No Keon, but man, the big 3 for Sacramento look fantastic, and Levine having himself some really nice games. As of recent, seems like a pretty good option here against Denver. I mean, I don't see any reason why this train stops for Levine.
Yeah, I like that call, man. I like all those guys in the second and third round there with DeRozan and Levine. I think they're going to project higher than their ADPs currently are right now. If there was a spot to get over on right now, I do like this. Ben's telling us to get over on the Kobe White stuff right now. I think I'd prefer to get over on the Levine stuff with their ADPs right now.
Godspeed, Ben. I love it. I love the conviction. That's what this is all about. That's what the draft games are for.
Absolutely. All right, dude. Anyone else on the Kings there? I mean, like Keon Ellis, it's very interesting. Like he plays a shit ton of minutes. Like he could fall into like 4 steals on any given night because that's what he does. Like that sort of thing. But like he just doesn't get the ball on offense enough to matter. Like, you know what I mean? Like he's just a full on ball guard defender. Like he's Jalen Suggs with no bag. He's Davion Mitchell-esque,
Yep. I mean, perfectly comped. He can have some big games, but he's a dad guy,
Yeah.
A dad slate Hall of Fame.
Yeah, he breaks 3 dad slates a year with like 8 stocks.
Yes.
Yeah. Like that's his MO, right? It's like Chris Dunn shit out here. Man, fucking comp guy's on fire right now. I'm not gonna lie.
He is Chris Dunn. Chris Dunn with hair.
All right, dude. we talked about this Thunder and Suns one earlier there. Suns eliminated. This is 227 here, 9.5 by way of the Thunder. We talked about the implications of SGA playing for, potentially for his MVP odds and that sort of situation. Yeah, I'm a little skittish on it tonight. I don't see, like, they have title and championship aspirations. I don't see why you play your guys this evening, but we have yet to get an injury report on any of these last games here outside of the Rockets. So they're going to be hard to talk through here. We are kind of doing some guesswork on the last three on the slate here, Nez. So for me, I'm kind of waving. Booker's played big ass minutes recently. Maybe there's some push pull with if SGA plays, Booker wants to play, like that sort of thing. But I imagine at least one of Beal and Booker sit this evening. And then on the Thunder side, I imagine at least two of Hartenstein, Chet, J-Dub, and SGA sit, which could bring like Aaron Wiggins in the last round into our lives, much like the Peyton Pritchard bet is right now. Aaron Wiggins in the 6th round as like a scroll the F down, plays 33 minutes and just fucking fills it up against a bad Suns team tonight. Could be a lot of fun. Yeah, but anything that you're liking in this one and any leans?
Not really, man. Nothing I'm liking right now. Truly just not a player in this spot that I'm into. If we get bench versus bench, maybe I can talk myself into rookie Ryan Dunn, making some noise here. Maybe Lil Aaron Wiggins, like you mentioned. That's it.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with you there, Nez. The thing that's different about this and like the 76ers and the Wizards and those situations is both these teams are like, they got like 14 bodies, so if they rule out 4 of them, well, they still got 10, and the second unit of the Thunder could still like play, like it'll be like Jalen with a Y and Kendrick Williams and Isaiah Joe. It's going to be guys like this who can still play basketball, still win this ball game by 10, and still not matter from a fantasy standpoint.
Yeah. Like you said, if we end up getting those injuries, then I can maybe think about it. But otherwise, yeah, this is it's so much easier just to not think about this game right now.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Soft fade. Where would you take SGA right now? Like 6, 5?
Yeah, I think 6.
Yeah. Like I'd take AD over him. I would take Sabonis over him. I'd take Paulo over him. I think maybe the stopgap is like Harden.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and that's because I have Harden higher than ADP. Yeah.
Right. Okay, cool. Suns side, I think the only person on planet Earth we could potentially get excited about if they rule out like 5 guys is if Bol starts.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But we haven't seen it in so long, and that's just fantasy guys having fun and fucking around as a 6th round pick. But if you somehow get Bol starting this evening against the backup version of the Thunder and Booker, Beal, and Royce O'Neal are out, or Tyus is out, and then SGA, J-Dub, Chet, and Hartenstein are out on the other side, you could get like Wiggins versus Bol, fun fuck around fest. But that is so gal brain to draft right now that you just strike it from the record kind of deal.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, sounds like this one's kind of like a soft fade for us here. Warriors, man, 16.5 point favorites against the Spurs. Spurs are another one of those 11 teams on a back-to-back here. This is a 231.5. Yeah, not sure what we're going to get from the Spurs this evening in terms of not sure what we're going to get here in terms of injury report for the Spurs on the back-to-back. But the Warriors, man, we're going to be drafting Steph and Jimmy Butler, despite Jimmy Butler's reluctancy to shoot the basketball in recent memory for whatever reason. I think you're going to want a little bit of that, either of them here, because this game means a lot to them moving up in the Western Conference standings.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think you need to worry necessarily. I mean, like blowout risk, sure, whatever, but they're going to make sure that they take care of business here. So yeah, I like Steph a lot tonight. Like you said, Jimmy, is a little riskier, but I mean, slate's so deep that that's really it for me, man.
Mhm. Yeah, these games are really hard to talk through, obviously, without the injury reports and stuff like that. But I agree with you, man. Like it's just the slate's so deep that like I don't need to get to Draymond, Kaminga, Pods. Especially in a game where they're 16.5 point favorites and they're getting ready for the postseason. Yes, it's really important that they win this game. But if you get a watered down version of the Spurs tonight, I mean, they can win it with 28 minutes of Curry and 28 minutes of Jimmy and
Yep,
playing 12 deep Steve Kerr bullshit style.
for sure, for sure. Yeah, it's always a possibility.
Yeah.
But there's big ceilings here though, so I'm not going to fade because it might go that way.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, DFS King's asking in the chat here, what's up with that KD projection? I have no idea. I have no idea. For whatever reason on the site on the back end, he has a 39, but he already has an out tag listed beside his name. There is no official injury report, but it does say ankle 2 weeks listed out on Tuesdays, so that doesn't apply. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. They've been eliminated. I don't see any reason why Katie would play basketball the remainder of this season.
Yeah, I would ignore it. Sometimes the provider does some weird shit.
Yeah, it happens, man. Sometimes Brandon Lockridge is the highest projected outfielder on a slate. All right, Nez, last game on the slate, Rockets and Clippers. Rockets, nothing to play for this evening and have submitted their injury report. Alfred Sengun posted, this is the alpha from Unabated. He posted what he tends to post when he does play on game days. So apparently he has a let him know of his own that is closer to
Yeah,
Yabu.
I did not
Yeah,
know
like
that.
yeah, like Yabu style. So it's lower back stiffness. It's a questionable tag. He's put up 40 fantasy points in 3 straight games there. Jabari Smith Jr. with a Q tag. And Fred Van Fleet, aka Dick Van Meat, has already been not ruled out, but he's doubtful for this one. Not anticipating him this evening. Yeah, a lot of pieces from this game getting drafted currently. Clippers on the back-to-back. Kawhi sat the front end. We think Clippers are going to be full tonight for the same reason as we alluded to earlier with the Western Conference standings, that this game just means so much to them. But it does also seem like a spot where like the Rockets could play like 10, 11 deep and then wave the white flag early if they're down 10 because it doesn't mean anything to them.
Yeah.
So a little more bullish on the Clippers side than the Rockets side right now. But yeah, just your thoughts on this one, Nez.
No, that's a good point. Going back to the rankings or the standings here, I mean, there's not really anything that the the Rockets are playing for right now. So I can understand, giving them, docks and ranks because of that. And Clippers, I think, Harden is pretty undervalued. I mean, it's hard to be undervalued at pick 10, but I think he is. I think he should be a first round pick.
Nice.
Kawhi as well, I think should be, second round. Where is he going right now? 15. So
15.
I think he
Yeah.
needs to be going earlier than that. But it's hard to get him up, too much higher. I don't think I'm going to put him over Curry. But
Mhm.
yeah, I think both those guys look awesome today.
We're getting an unabated news dump for the game we just talked about as of right now. Gary Payton, the second there, he is listed with the Q tag, and Quentin Post has been ruled out. So nothing crazy impactful. Just good to see that, as we alluded to, the stars for the Warriors are going to matter in a big way tonight in terms of like they want to win this basketball game. So yeah, just an injury report that goes in lockstep with what we just talked about. Yeah, Nez, couldn't agree with you more in terms of the Clippers stuff. I do think Harden's undervalued. I do want to get overweight Kawhi and Zubac in that second round there. On the Rockets side, dude, Sengun with the Q tag. Are you trying to get some of that when he falls? Like he's a 20 ADP right now. Like, do you want to take him in the fourth round, or are you just kind of scared? Like Because if this game where the Rockets had something to play for and you told me that Jabari Smith was going to be out and you told me Fred VanVleet was going to be out, I would really want to get, even though it's, not a high total and it's kind of paced down against the Clippers there, I would still want to get some Sengun in my life. I would want to get some Jalen Green in the 5th/6th round. I'd want a little bit of Ahmed Thompson. What are you doing? Are you not waving Rockets?
Kind of. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I kind of agree, dude.
Think so.
Yeah.
But the spread is giving me pause, but I want to not wave them, and I kind of am anyways.
Okay. Yeah, I'm in agreement with you there. I think we could see, a little more expanded Cam Whitmore, Aaron Holiday, Reed Shepherd, Tate and Tari Eason tonight. Like I think they know where they're at. They know where they stand in the Western Conference. I think they're going to be a team to monitor over the weekend where it's like they're going to pick and choose some rest spots for these guys.
I'm seeing the same thing.
Yeah. I mean, you could maybe go Galbrain on it and be like, well, we don't want to play the Clippers in the first round. So if we beat them tonight and blah, blah, blah. It's like, who knows, man? I don't think, I'm not sure teams are thinking like that right now, but who knows? Let's do it. Let's jump in the Hump Day Hoops here. Draft number 5 for your boy here. How many of you got done so far, Nez?
In the main, I think I did third. Maybe I'm at 50 now. 50 in the main. Mm-hmm. Got my buzzer beaters done. My rankings are going to change a lot after this show. That's for sure.
Okay, cool. Our guy Nick, the resident Knicks expert, chiming in from France. Bonjour.
Yeah.
Comment ça va? He's giving the SAR bump. He's telling us to give us the SAR bump. All right, I'm here for it.
Some nice white wine pairs well with a Badge Bro stream in the evening there in Paris.
C'est Paris, huh?
Oui, oui.
Oui, oui. Yeah, I'm a red wine guy, dude. Nicky likes the white wine stuff. I'm not a big white wine guy. You a white wine guy?
I'm slowly getting there, but I'm typically red. I'm typically a red.
Yeah, likewise.
Yeah, but I'm venturing over to the white side. Don't clip that.
All right, what we got here? Little Smoke. That's a sick screen name.
Little Smoke. That's awesome.
Little Smoke. You guys want a little smoke in this lobby?
Yeah.
It's got so many. It's got so many. Interpretations of it. We got Little Smoke. We got Chase. We got Now Ricky who's hanging out in the chat. We got Spartan who was part of the Dog Bowl there, and then we got Holding the Rock who's been around forever as well. So we got friends and family room here, Nez. It'll be interesting to see what they're thinking on the SGA situation. If they're gonna force us to fall on that knife, or if they think now Ricky's saying SGA playing ball tonight.
I'm glad he made that decision easy for us because
Ooh, there's the Anthony Davis one. I think both of us are going to feel similarly here that it's either Sabonis, Paulo, or James Harden. How do you feel?
I think I would probably go Paulo, but Sabonis, I wouldn't hate you.
All right, let's do Sabonis then. I think if I could pinpoint what has a better chance at winning tonight involving the Magic, I would pinpoint 3rd round Franz has a better chance at winning than 1st round Paulo tonight.
Okay.
I don't know why, but just in terms of how closely they'll project. I know Paulo's been playing a lot better in recent memory. But yeah. Holden is watching the show, so he takes James Harden over LeBron James. Is this LeBron James for you here? Wanting to prove something alongside Luka and AD there, or do you like the other options?
No, I think I'm LeBron, but I think projections might disagree. But sometimes you just gotta know a little ball sometimes.
All right, I respect it. I think later in the day, when we get that Giddy active tag there, Nez, right now, it's not going to happen in this room because we're going to want to play the Q tag faller kind of game in other lobbies where you want to get some 3rd round Giddy or 3rd round Avdia in your life. I think if you want to flip the board later in the day, active tag Giddy will project well enough to pull him up to do from the 106 to do like Harden and Giddy or something like that if to get unique.
Yep. Yeah, I would agree with that.
Love it. There goes Giddy at 10. So there's your SGA Giddy. Everything pretty status quo right now. Steph Curry up a little bit there. Now that we got the injury report, Chase feels confident enough to take Steph Curry at 11.
Yeah, I think you're going to see a lot of hero Joker teams.
Yeah, just the natural combination at the end there and people fading the Q tags, like the recreationals fading the Q tags as well, will lend themselves to taking hero over the Q tags too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There's Kawhi. Judge has 20 RBIs already. Wow.
Wow. That's not a number you're seeing a lot right now.
No, definitely not. Yeah, we could do a little look sees into what's going on in the daytime diamond, aka the walk off Wednesday, in a second here. All right, Nez. DeRozan goes in front. Bronze goes in front. Kawhi goes in front. Booker falls back to us. I don't think Booker plays basketball tonight. I think I'd rather take Zubac or Levine. Who do you want?
I'd say Zoobs or Levine.
Yeah, I agree. You like them better than Booker in a vacuum if Booker plays tonight?
No.
Yeah.
No, I don't.
Yeah. Seager's starting to wake up. That's a good sign. I mean, I played the shit out of him the beginning of the season because I thought he was in some smash spots at home. And then he goes to a park where the weather is fucking tragic and it's less than 40 degrees and he starts homering. It's just like
Off a lefty.
LOL baseball, baby. Off a lefty. Wow. LOL baseballs. Holy shit. Sengun goes there. I think Kobe White, Ahmed Thompson, or Booker here. It's kind of like a mental tear break. You could also do Sharp and play the notion that Denny Avdia is out. Yeah, which one would you take here?
I think we go Booker here.
Yeah, it's just like it's such a stark fall that if you're gonna have Booker in your life, you may as well have it at pick 20.
Yeah, that's too much of a fall.
Yeah, I'm fine with it. And on a 10-game slate, there's going to be plentiful swap options later in the day. Yeah, I'm going to put a couple. I'm just going to put a little some ideas in the chat here, just between you and I, just to for a second here. We'll see here. Ooh, Alex Sarr going up there. So now Ricky buying. He's buying into the French narrative there. Yeah, Nick told me to take Sarr, so he goes in there. Love it. Kobe White falls back. Jazz is dead to you. 19 runners left on base today. That is not good for I mean, that's probably good for Flaherty, but the fact that he has that many runners on base, that's not good for my bags tonight. I think I didn't play a ton of Flaherty. I played a decent amount of why am I blanking right now?
Freed?
No Freed.
Almost no Freed. Yeah, Freed went nuts, yeah.
Yeah, I only had a couple.
I had more athletic stuff than I thought, so that's good.
Jonah Heim with a homer.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about anybody drafting him.
Yeah. Fuck. Spartan does it. So the number one name in our queue right now was Peyton Pritchard. Yeah, it feels like a really good price tag at 28 for Peyton Pritchard. Jalen Green, probably my favorite of this bunch there, Nez, but I'll hear you out on anything.
Let's go to Klingon.
Sure. I'm good with that.
Yeah.
Let's do Klingon. And we could do another scroll after this too.
Yeah, let's do that. Did Bona go? Yeah, Bona went to Ricky. Sorry, I just saw that.
Yeah. Damn, do you like the scroll that I put in the chat? Or is it too insane? If J-Dub comes back to us, we can take it and do like the game correlation thing with
Yeah.
Booker and J-Dub and then swap.
No, I
I don't
don't.
think
I like it. I like it.
let's just fucking do it. You know what? Let's stand for something on stream here.
There's a chance he's a 4th rounder.
I think by the end of the day, this is gal brain shit. By the end of the day, when everything gets ruled in, out, everything gets switched, I think this player and Peyton Pritchard and Aaron Wiggins are going to be 4th and 5th rounders by the end of the day. J-Dub, see you later, buddy. You're not playing basketball today.
Love it.
Aaron Wiggins, here we go. Let's have some fun. Let's see, we'll fuck around, find out. That's probably the first Aaron Wiggins share of the day drafted, and it won't be the last, in my professional opinion. As
Hopefully not. Hopefully
Yeah.
not. If it is, we did something wrong.
Oh, Mets chalk falling on its face. Fuck yeah, I didn't draft a single Met. Bless my heart.
Love to fucking see it.
I'm
Love
a
to see it.
Max Meyer believer, dude. I did not draft a single Met.
Dude's nice.
Yeah. Texas has got 5 runs. I didn't draft a single Texas bat. I didn't draft a single Cub either. Yeah, my guys haven't started yet. So we're not going to be showing much action just yet in the streets there.
Yeah, of course Wood is up there, but that won't hold. He has a Yankees stack. Anybody that's toward the top of the leaderboard right now is going to get knocked down very soon. But man,
Yeah.
Wood has just been crushing baseball. Didn't know that was in his bag. I apologize. Wasn't familiar with this game.
Not familiar with your game. Yeah, it's a good reminder for everybody that Wood's tool also that we use for NBA to track our results and stuff like that. He is amending it to incorporate MLB as well. So very cool. Nez, I wanted to rip one more draft, but honest to God, we talked so much. We went through all those games. Everybody can do the drafting on their own. We're going to do rapid fire baseball for the late slate. It's only 4 games. We'll do it quick and dirty. That's what she said, and finish it up in the last like 19 minutes here with at least one draft of MLB. I have only done one so far in preparation for this because I was doing the early slate there, Nez. But yeah, going to be an interesting one. It's going to be like a stars and scrubs at the pitcher position right now because of some of the pitchers being in Coors Field and not being that great. That being said, the quote unquote stars on this slate are more of the SP 3, 2, 3, 4 variety there. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at on this one. That hashtag pitching doesn't matter as long as it doesn't negatively correlate with your team and it isn't in Coors Field. That's where I'm at. How you doing with pitching?
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I'm pretty much just like punting pitching. There's no way I'm getting overweight Pepio because he's the best pitcher on the slate at ADP 6. No. I would rather take my shots on Lugo, I'll probably have a lot of Lugo today and a lot of Joe Ryan today. Definitely negative Pepio for me today. Fine pitcher. There's just no way that I'm doing that.
Yeah, no, I fully agree with you, Nez. Especially in that ballpark and stuff. We'll do the weather thing because the weather is obviously the 101 that we always talk about there. As I pull it up, I was still my basketball stuff up here, but I'll pull up the weather stuff there. But that ballpark, it's just so much better for hitting conditions than Kansas City or Minnesota than the game with Kansas City and Minnesota. Even though the outfield is big in Kansas City, it just doesn't play up for home runs and doesn't play up for run scoring unless there is bad weather, like that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. If there's good weather, I misspoke there. Nothing pressing with the Roth stuff here. Obviously, I was talking about the poor conditions for the morning there. The Cleveland game isn't on our slate there, but that Kansas City one, as we alluded to, maybe a little bit of rain, but likely after the game. That's just the classic triple condom, Roth stuff. Everything is cold and awful on the first slate, with the exception of these last 3 games where there was some decent weather there. And then our slate that we are concerned about, we got 73 in Tampa there, which hasn't played as hitter friendly as I originally thought it would be just yet in that one. Royals is 71, so nothing too crazy. They're just a nice day. Braves, same sort of thing. And Coors is Coorsing and started to Coors last night with the Brewers putting up big time runs. So they are the chalk stack because they have even worse pitching on the mound today than yesterday. So that's kind of macro weather. I'll take a look at the ballpark, pal, with some of that other stuff. But Nez, rank the pitching for me. You said you'd like to be a little bit over on Lugo and Ryan in that second tier.
Yeah. Lugo, Ryan, Kikuchi, Pepio, for me, and I'll definitely be overweight. The top 3 there, mixing and matching as I tend to do, just locking up the pitchers that I think won't get shelled. Everybody else here, Walker, no thanks. Even though the Braves have been scuffling. Grant Holmes, no thank you. Tyler Alexander, nice start against the Reds, but the Reds have been pretty stinky. No thank you. And Sensatella, don't think I'm going to get there tonight.
Yeah, fully agree with you there. I mean, maybe I could spin zone the Walker one a little bit for some double bubble leverage, because at least we know he'll go like decently deep. But Atlanta Bats came alive last night and doesn't look like a great spot. Grant Holmes, man, people got excited about him because he made the rotation from like a season long perspective. Like, I don't see it. He's a longtime journeyman who took a while to make it to the big leagues. I don't see the stuff. Like, yeah, I'd be playing the shit out of Phillies right now, and left-handed Phillies right now comparative to ADPs. Maybe that's a good segue in here to the bats and stuff. But just in general, Nez, as we alluded to, Coors playing up in a big way, Tampa playing decently up. Kaufman, as we said, the bigger outfield lends itself to contact, but plays down for power this time of year. So just kind of sharing like the macro sentiment of what we're seeing every day with ballparks is that like home runs are down despite the balls being flying, just largely because the conditions are so concentrated to, Coors or Sutter Health Field or some of these places where the ball actually flies. The cold temperatures, the ball is just not flying right now.
Yeah, no, I think it really TLDR, just waiting for good weather, is really what it comes down to. I think before I head out here, you mentioned it, just like Kyle Schwarber just should be going way higher than he is right now.
Yeah, he was the 101 stick that I noticed right away. It's interesting. Cardi doesn't really agree with me, though. He kind of has the Philly sticks a little bit buried and has like the Atlanta and the chalk stuff ahead. I'm not fully in agreement with that. I think the chalk Coors stuff is definitely the best way to find runs on this slate. But I think if you wanted to get overweight, like some contrarian spots, it would be doing Phillies without Coors stuff and then adding, a different secondary stack. That's kind of where my mind goes.
Yeah. I think you're right on that. I'm gonna have a lot of Angels, so that's gonna be my way of getting unique.
Yeah.
Double bubble.
Rocket Sauce saying like, Cardi's wrong, guys. Often. Yeah, everyone's wrong. Often in baseball, it's baseball. So it's like, he is the gold standard, but like the gold standard in baseball, just look at every Hall of Fame player ever. They were wrong 7 out of 10 times and they still made the Hall of Fame. Like, that's just how baseball works, is you're going to be way more often wrong than right because you fail 7 out of 10 times opposed to succeeding 7 out of 10, like basketball around the rim kind of thing.
Yeah, I would not. I mean, it's fun to poke fun at our projection sources. I would not say that he's bad.
Yeah. Here's the counter from Jumfrey. Cardi's projections got me limited from the pick'ems. There you go. That's the bull case to using them in tandem with Unabated. Okay, Nez. Nez has got to bounce here. He's got a
Yeah.
crybaby in the back. Shout out to Nez and the sheep seats.
That's
and
right.
the dad, aka the dad winner. Love to see it.
See you guys. John, talk to you later.
Yeah, peace, buddy. All right, we push forward here. We'll do a couple of these drafts and yeah, we'll see what we got. One big bat that comes to mind right now is Rake Bowers. Um, I, 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 I mean, if I'm getting to some Milwaukee stuff today, I'm expecting Rake Bowers to be in there today. Classic getaway days, these midweek days and stuff like that. He's a stick that, I haven't seen people get to in the first couple drafts that I did there that is going to be playing in Coors today, I imagine. I have not seen that lineup yet. That lineup is not out. I'm not seeing him in some of the other lineups as well. So he's a guy that I want to get to right now before the field starts to play catch up there. Let's do a little game by game just because there's only 4. So this is a classic baseball slate, guys, where we're going to talk out of both sides of our mouth, where you're going to like pitching, but then you're also going to have to get to contrarian stacks. Nez said he really liked the Angels this evening. My notes on the Angels: Logan O'Hoppe came back last night, did not start, but Logan O'Hoppe did factor in by a pinch hit late in that game. So Logan O'Hoppe, I'm expecting him back in the middle of that lineup today. The Rays, they continue to lose bodies. There, Christopher Morel got thrown out last night with like some childish antics and whatever, but they're super thin in the outfield. So he'll be back in the middle of that lineup today. If you are stacking Rays, he's not outfield eligible. So you're going to be missing a lot of, outfield eligible players on this slate. Don't expect Brandon Lau to be in the lineup today. Lefty, but could be a pinch hit risk later for someone like Curtis Mead or Jose Caballero, who tripled yesterday in a reserve role, but then came into the ball game. I really like Nez's shout about getting to the Angels. Just in general, when you look at stacking partners on the slate right now, outfield, is going to be pretty chalk heavy early. But then if you scroll at outfield, some of these Angels guys are buried down here below some other names that I would rather, I'd rather play these guys ahead of them. So I like that. Eric saying he's fully on board with Rake Bowers. It's not a getaway day today. They play one more tomorrow. Thank you for correcting me on that. Getaway day for them will be tomorrow. But yeah, I'm expecting him in there as well today. But I was also expecting Seth Brown to be in the lineup today for the Athletics. So I don't know. Famous last words sometimes when it comes to my reads on the scenarios. Braves and Phillies. I think the Phillies are a little bit underrepresented right now, as I was alluding to. Kyle Schwarber in particular, especially coming off of such a big game there. I'm not as big a Grant Holmes respecter as the community appears to be at this point in time. I really like Nez's idea. I saw the exact same thing of I want pitching from Twins and Royals, and then I want stacks from other places is kind of like how I was treating it. I'll take one-offs from Twins and Royals, but I probably won't have, full 5-mans or 4-mans from there. Evergreen reminder on a 4-game slate that dense correlation plays better on a 4-game slate than it does on a 10-game slate on our site. That being said, it also leads to being duped more frequently because there's less teams to choose from, unless it's a GM created stack in terms of like pairing ADP 1 with ADP 4 or some combination of like, Yelich and Jackson Chourio or something like that. Jackson Chourio, for what it's worth, my, highest hitter on the slate, but I don't think that's a surprise to anyone because the chalk just looks very, very strong today. Okay, where was I? Phillies and Braves. Sean Murphy's back. Sean Murphy came back yesterday. He homered in his first game back. 3-run tank off of Zach Wheeler. Little pull to left field there into the second deck. Monster shot by his standpoint. So yeah, we could definitely mix in Sean Murphy if we want contrarian, scroll the F down in the stack there. So if you do like, the Olsen Ozuna, which is kind of hard to obtain, but Ozuna Riley or Ozuna Harris or Ozuna Albies is available every damn time. Then you could scroll the F down to Sean Murphy and add him in there. Taiwan Walker, not nearly the pitcher that he once was, or the pitcher that um, Wheeler is, and he got yesterday by Sean Murphy. So just a good reminder that Sean Murphy's a good hitter. Twins and Royals, I think it's just interesting to note, Eduardo Julian back in the middle of that lineup, gonna hit 5th or 6th today. You know what? I should just confirm that these lineups are out or not before I do all my speculation on where I have them ranked versus where they actually are ranked. Give me 1 second to just make sure I bring up the Underdog MLB stuff here. Rockies lineup just came out. Sean Bouchard in the 2 hole there. That's nice. Got a little bit of pop there as well. Yeah, that's fun. He's up for Jordan Beck. It looks like they are starting Veen against the lefty. So he is buried in there. So you can get to Veen as well. A little bit of plus upside with the legs there as well. Okay, let's do there's my Twins lineup. Yeah, there you go. So Julian's in there. Harrison Bader's off to a really nice start. Doesn't get drafted a whole lot. So Bader is also viable for scroll the F down outfield option, but he is a big time pinch hit risk. But he can do enough damage with 1 swing. I think he's homered 4 times already, 4 or 5 times already this year. So yeah, but classic talking out of both sides of your mouth because I prefer the pitching in that game just in general. Let's go back to Unabated just because it's prettier to look at. Phillies lineup. I'm not seeing a Phillies lineup just yet, but not expecting anything funky. I think Kepler's probably underrated in terms of drafts right now. His ADP is, where's Kepler at? Kepler basically doesn't have an ADP. Expecting him to bat alongside or hit alongside, Castellanos or something in that 5 or 6 position there. So Max Kepler as a contrarian stacking option there is fun as well. There's your Sean Bouchard buried. Bouchard. Yeah. And then Twins and Royals, as I alluded to, going to be using it as pitching. But if you want, a contrarian left-handed stack, Julian, who's got a little bit of pop and got some speed, mixed with like Trevor Larnach hitting 4 and 6 there. That I mean, you could do worse. That seems like a fun little mini stack to get to. But there are a lot of sticks on this slate to get to just in general. And I think my favorite of the bunch all reside outside of this game. Won't fault anyone for doing the Royals thing, but the Royals, just a reminder, are primarily infield heavy. Kyle Isbell homered last night and stole a base, so that's kind of fun. Yeah. One more that I wanted to talk about with the Angels. Yeah, Kyron Paris. There you go. You want another Paris tie-in for our guy? One other Paris tie-in for our guy, Nick. He homered again last night. That's back-to-back games with a home run. He's one of only 6 players in the big leagues right now with 3 home runs and 3 steals. So that's kind of cool. Good prospect in their organization. Just a guy who doesn't get drafted a ton, who has a little bit of pedigree. Obviously not the best matchup in the world against Pepio and being left-handed. We just got some unabated news. Sorry, guys. Took my attention there. We got the Clippers injury report. Ben Simmons is out, which is good for backup 5 run for keeping Zubac on the floor. Norm Powell with a Q tag. Patty Mills is out, and Kawhi Leonard listed available to play. So nothing that we kind of didn't already know or things we weren't already considering. All right. And then now we move on to the last game on the slate, which is in fact Coors Field. It is going to have the highest team totals, the highest implied total. It is bad pitching on the mound there, and it is Coors. So Coors is going to be plus plus for scoring runs today. This is the chalk spot for a reason. But as we alluded to with some of those lineups, there are still contrarian bats that people aren't getting to. Sean Bouchard is one of them. Rake Bowers is another one of them that I like today that we're both going underrepresented earlier today. Imagine Jake Bowers hits in the middle of that lineup. Probably fifth or sixth would be probably fifth or sixth. Sal Frelick finally homered. Christian Yelich finally homered last night. Rhys Hoskins finally coming alive a little bit last night, but he was really scuffling to start there. I think Garrett Mitchell's ADP right now is a little bit laughable, but I get it with the handedness and that sort of thing. It's actually fallen a little bit since I started drafting. It was, up above Olsen and that sort of thing. Bryce Terang is fine, but he's just a guy I never draft or get overweight because sure, he stole like 45 plus bases last night. It might have been, or last year. It might have been 50 bags last year. But when he doesn't lead off and they've been using Jackson Churio as the leadoff and he hits at the bottom side of that order, sure, he just has no power, man. Like, I know he homered last night and, he's putting up double digit scores. It's just like, he's not a dude who breaks slates. But yeah, he's fine to stack with. He's just not the kind of guy I would start, building a team with. Like, I'd rather build with William Contreras as starting there. I would pull, Contreras over Terang, but I get it. They're going to be paired together quite frequently today. Let's hop in and see if we can chef something up. Yeah, Terang leading off against righties. Yeah, I get it. It's fine. I just have like such a sore spot for accumulators when accumulators get high ADPs. Yeah, so it was 50, not 45. I said greater than 45. But yeah, 7 and 50. Fine. I'm just inherently biased to guys with like low ISOs and reliancy on other people driving them in or stolen bases or that sort of deal. Way rather play like the big beefy baseball boys just with the scoring format that we have. Egger's saying that a Seager homered again. That's good for the best ball bags. I like to see that coming around. That is bad for the daily bags, though. That is bad for the daily bags. Here. Phillies lineup just came out. And as I suspected, Max Kepler is hitting fifth and hitting above Castellanos. So that's a fun click to get to right now that is relatively underpriced. Nothing unusual with the Phillies lineup. Schwarber, Turner, Harper, Bohm, Kepler, Castellanos, Real Muto, Stott, and Marsh. So standard issue there. Bretton Doyle goes second there. We could do Yelich. It's fine. Let's have some more fun than doing Christian Yelich here. Let's do Olsen. Not a big scroll or anything to start, but let's do Olsen maybe as a one-off. We'll see if a decent stack partner comes back to us. Schwarber's ADP has really pushed up compared to what I saw the first go around here when the contest dropped. He was buried a little bit, but that's corrected itself. So maybe not as crazy a outlier as originally we thought, but I still want to be probably a little bit overweight Schwarber. Anything else abnormal about the Rockies lineup there? Goodman, Farmer, Chris Bryant getting buried finally. Perfect. Good to see. Yeah, a lot of one-off Milwaukee stuff going down. So this is like one of those classic short slate dynamics where the chalk is so strong that everybody's chasing the chalk every single draft, and it's going to lead to like, some one-offs or some bad combinations of like Coors chalk. Like here, look at this. All Coors picks outside of the Olsen and the Bobby Witt pick in the first picks here. We could go ahead and stack Ozuna here. I think it's probably the sharpest thing to do, but I wanted to do a Schwarber thing. Let's do a Schwarber thing and treat these two as one-offs, and then we'll find a contrarian three-man stack. Yeah, so how do you beat good chalk? Well, you either full fade it, which can be scary, and you build out like all hitters from different game environments, or you go ahead and you contrarian stack the chalk spots. So we do, the bottom half of the lineup, we do the bottom half of the Rockies lineup, we do the bottom half of the Brewers lineup, like stuff like that. Or you pair like guys who aren't routinely paired together, like Bryce Terang and William Contreras are going to be paired together a shit ton because their ADPs are going to overlap there. And then the GM combos will be like if Yelich can get one of them to fall, or if the Jackson Churio drafter can get any of them to fall. So just be mindful of that. You either have to build the super team with the good chalk, or you have to build the most contrarian iteration of it. So it's a delicate balancing act on these kind of slates. And if you're putting in limited entries, you should probably just full fade Coors. And that doesn't feel good because it's an amazing chalk spot. It's the nut chalk spot today for a reason. Okay, we could do Mitchell. No, I'm sticking to my guns out here. Let's go with starting pitcher here. Let's go Joe Ryan. I think Joe Ryan's a better pitcher than Seth Lugo. I think both are fine today. I think they'll both project as my two highest on the slate. You know what? I could probably just check my stuff right now, even though it's not fully completed. Yeah, Ryan, Pepio, Kikuchi, and Lugo are all like 2 fantasy points apart. So do whatever the fuck you want with that. And then you scroll a bit and it'll be like Holmes and Walker. And I'll be full fading Coors pitching. But reminder, if you're playing like 5 entries, what's your cleanest path to first? It's fading Coors and playing Coors pitching, right? So you just flip the script of what every single draft room is doing if you want that contrarian path, right? Yeah, we got to take a look at what everybody is doing here. Sal Frelick goes there. I think in a vacuum, guys, I prefer Garrett Mitchell than Sal Frelick, but I anticipate Frelick hitting, 5th or 6th today, and Mitchell being a little bit further down. Okay. Let's do Rake Bowers, as we alluded to, as one contrarian bat that we expect to be in the middle of that lineup today. Make sure I don't have my push noties on right now. For MLB, make sure we don't have a lineup yet. It was the Blue Jays lineup that just came through. Yeah, we could do like a little 2-man Milwaukee stack here, and then another one-off. Or yeah, I think that's probably what we're going to do here. There's a couple other lefties that could draw into the lineup today against Senzatella. Oliver Dunn, Garrett Mitchell. I think Hoskins off day And Bowers starting at first is a very real possibility. We're getting notifications on Unabated. Jeremy Sohan been ruled out there. I think you just take Garrett Mitchell here because I think he'll hit close enough in the order and at the bottom of the lineup or mid to bottom, like hit like 7 or something alongside Bowers. So I think there's some good positive correlation in that. And then I think we can go ahead and take a one-off, or we can take a scroll the F down Brewers bat that nobody else is stacking the back of the order with. Oliver Dunn potentially playing third base today. Yeah, I expect Vinny out. I expect Isaac Collins out, who both started yesterday. I think Oliver Dunn's probably fine today. All right, guys, we got 205 of us still hanging out. Hit the like, subscribe, notification bell. I think this is gonna be our last draft of the day here. There's your Sean Bouchard pick. Sean Bouchard, not all that dissimilar to like Jordan Beck. Both had like decent power profiles. Medium. Probably Beck's power profile's a little bit better. Drafted Albatross. Now he only wants the PGA goods. Mr. Good Boy's got to get out here. We've already been live for 2 hours. Who knows? Maybe. There's Zach Veen. So stacking the backside of that order was Zach Veen, Kyle Farmer, lefty killer, by the way. Hoskins is probably the safer pick here. But if we already took Bowers, I think it's anticipating the fact that Hoskins is going to sit today and Bowers is going to be in there at his expense, which would allow Oliver Dunn to get in the lineup as well, I believe. And they'll play all 3 of these lefties. So we take 3 left-handed Brewers bats, so platoon side advantage. We use the other guys as one-offs. We get a little bit of ADP value on Garrett Mitchell, and then we get 2 scroll the F downs. Rake Bowers, aka Jake Bowers, my favorite of the bunch there. Longtime journeyman big leaguer who, he's failed prospect a couple times over kind of deal, but has definitely flashed some power in the past, both with the Yankees and with the Mariners for a stretch there. The people want the golf, eh? The people want the golf. Not today, guys. I was going to do it. Not today. I'll draft a couple more this evening on my own accord. But in terms of the contest today, I'm gonna end it there. I'm gonna end it there. Yes, just one. No, go back and watch yesterday's stream. We hit on it yesterday. We got all the alpha yesterday. I'm gonna go watch some Daytime Diamond here. I'm gonna make sure I get some more web gems in here. That was the breakdown. Make sure I get some hoops in. That was the breakdown, guys. Thank you to Nez for joining. Thank you to the good people at Unabated for all that they do. Both their projections, their pick'em tool, everything. That'll be live in 15 minutes time there. And we'll be back tomorrow. Tomorrow very well could be a paywall show. So if you are a memby, do consider, or if you're not a memby, do consider signing up. Cheaper than one draft on the site here. Mr. Goodboy knows what time it is. He is right beneath me right now. But long-winded way of saying appreciate everyone being here. Like, subscribe, notification, consider signing up at Unabated with promo code badge at sign up. Enjoy the slates this evening and get in those PGA lobbies as I intend to do. You're going to want to sweat. You're going to want to sweat for all those majors. Trust me. You're going to want to sweat for all those majors. I know I do. I definitely do. All right. Everybody's favorite time of the show. The end. Peace.